Only it is the black moon tonight. There's some white candles. Little tea lights. Oh, good day, family. Good day. Good day, Call Dog. It's so good to see you, my brother. It is good to see you. I was just looking at the chapters because, see, I am not supposed to be reading it page for page like I have been reading. That's how I like to read, though, but that was incorrect. I guess it got by because I do comment a lot when I'm reading and stuff. So since I know that, I won't be reading the book's chapter, in order and stuff. I'll just be picking select chapters, I guess, and reading from them until I see how I'm gonna do this. Wow, that seems, I don't really like that, but yeah, I'll try it with this book right here, especially since it is so big, because I will be reading some full chapters now, like the chapter, what chapter is this? Birth of a Nation. I definitely want to read that. That's chapter 25. But I definitely want to read that full chapter right there. So I'm not going to read a whole lot of this book because I do want to read Birth of a Nation. I think I'm going to watch that tonight. I've been meaning to watch Solvent Green also. And there's some other movies Brother B-Dale was telling us to watch. And just to keep up on things, so much is going on. But the movies are key. The movies have a key and stuff. So we on chapter 5. Let me get the copyright disclaimer out the way. It's so good to see you, my brother. Thank you for getting me started. Because, once I leave and stuff, and it have been like a week and a half, I guess. But it's like, even this right here, I'm not sure if I even remember the copyright disclaimer, so I'm just going to read it off the paper right here and stuff, and I do like to have at least 2 people in before I get started and stuff, and then I can carry on and stuff. Copyright disclaimer under 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. That way I got that out the way. But we are on chapter 5. But since I know I can't be reading the books like that, I was looking at it. Oh, yeah, we're going to do chapter 5. Chapter 5 is Black Hunts. The chapters that I do decide to read, we're going to read that full chapter. Because out of this whole book right here, it may only be 4 chapters in total. So instead of taking a chapter and breaking it down and stuff on each chapter, I'm just going to go through the chapters and select which ones we're going to read. And we're going to read that full chapter. And yeah. And that way there should not be any infringing on anybody's toes, fingers, or yeah. Yeah, but it's so good to see you. I just want to, I don't want to be on the wrong side doing this and stuff, while we have this opportunity anyway. And I've been trying to, I got some other connections. And once I get them right and stuff, then I put them on. I'll let y'all know where they are and stuff. Because, it takes me a long time to go the long way around just to make these little alterations, these adaptions that we got to make in life and stuff. We all doing it. We all got to do it. And this black moon tonight, I was trying to be up last night. I went to sleep probably like maybe 4, 5 o'clock, I guess. It was, yeah. It was kind of like in there and stuff, but I was trying to stay up. But I stayed up as long as I could and stuff. And this is rare. This moon is rare. I think it come like every 33 years or something like that. But it's a rare moon. The black moon is and stuff. But all of this is significant. And then there's another one in September. That's the I wrote it up there so I remember. That's the blood moon, September the 7th through the 8th. Because I want to, I want to do more, learn more about the stars, the skies. the multiverse, the universe, the multiverse, the ethers. I want to know more about it. Yeah, it's resonating with me now. So, I want to know more about it and stuff. What's this that they didn't teach me about me? And it come natural to us, like Benjamin Banneker. It came natural to him. It's the study of the ethers, cosmic energy. We're energy, the study of us. Black hunts. Ooh, this is chapter 5. Oh, yeah, we're reading Step from the Beginning, the definitive history of racist ideas in America. And I decided to read this. Well, I couldn't find the book that sister recommended, Slavery, but I did find it. I misplaced it somewhere. And so I decided that, we'll read this right here, because the definitive history of racist ideas in America, how did they even get so prevalent here? I mean, this probably should have been the first book that I read, but Red Summer was the first book. And then it was Racial Violence in Kentucky, 1865 to 1940. Then it was Racial Violence in the United States. But how did they get here? And so this right here, it seemed fitting, because as we go through other readings, after this right here, I'm not sure if it's going to be slavery, because, I think that's a part 1 and a part 2. So I will hold off on that book. But like medical apartheid, I think this book right here is giving us some insight to deal with other books like that. Because after reading Red Summer and Racial Violence in the United States, it bears that somebody needs to do some critiquing again on white America. That ain't never happened, if you ask me. Ain't nobody ever seriously thought about what went on with them. What happened? What was that? What the fuck was all of that y'all did, that your people did? Because ain't nobody ever addressed it. And it needs to be addressed. What happened to my ancestors? Deny it all you want, ignore it all you want. It's that. It ain't going nowhere. America finna fall into hell because of this. This is what judgment is out about. And I call judgment. Yeah, I call judgment. This right here. It's been ignored too long. You done put it on the back burner too long. Now times is up. Yeah, time's up. Somebody already done called judgment. Don't be mad at me like it's my fault. I'm the last one to this fight right here for my ancestors. I'm the last one. Me and the people like me. The people that didn't reach none of them pinnacles. We didn't reach your educational pinnacle, the financial pinnacle, the religious pinnacle. We didn't reach none of them pinnacles up there. The political pinnacle, we didn't reach them. But it's us that's coming up saying, yeah, what you got up there and didn't do, it ain't going to be ignored no longer. It ain't going to be put on the back burner no more. You were supposed to keep the focus for Black America, but you didn't do it. So now it's us that's finna come up. And we all finna replace y'all ass. Those that's out here with us that did reach. They can. We got people that can sit in all them seats. Every 9,000 seat that Dr. Claude Anderson said we got politically, we got somebody out here that can sit in them seats. We sure do, honey. Every last one of them. We got the intelligence out here. We got the sincerity out here. We got the energy, the intelligence, the bravery right out here among us. Yep, even me, I can say somewhere. Yeah, get your ass up. Shit, I know how to read. I can read too. So I'm just saying, we're going to have to start our own political party. That's what this is about. Ain't nobody finna listen to nothing we got to say. You know it ain't. They ain't tried to. They ain't finna try to. Who you gonna, once this new world order get out here, who you gonna try to reason with then? Who? The robots? Even when we get this political party, the best thing your ass can hope to do with this political party is put your barriers up. Put your motherfucking barriers up and keep all of that shit out of our communities. Starting today, right here, right now. I don't know how y'all gonna catch up with Powernomics. Because I don't know how I'm gonna catch up with it. But we learning about it. We learning about it. So when we do catch up with Powernomics, oh yeah, let me squeeze up in there too. You can get your ass up, sister. Yeah, I can sit here and do this now. I can take over from now. Sister, it might be one of the lowly jobs in the political arena, but that's fine with me because I know how to read. And I'm honest. I'm sincere. So yeah, sister, I can take over from now. Yeah, maybe sister and brother might need to be up there inside of this war that we going through. But I know for me, I can sit somewhere. Sure, okay, honey, it might be the city council on our black political party. But that's where my black ass will be. At my own table with my own people. That's how we supposed to be from here on out. How else you think we're going to fight this with the pen? With the pen. At the ballot. How else we going to do it still sitting at somebody else's table? We ain't going to do it like that. No, we ain't going to do it like that. So yes, ancestors, please let me find those that think like me for my people. That's all I want. That's all I want, honey. And you can say, yeah, Face, that sounds good and dandy, but let me show you how it's supposed to be. All right, then. Twerk it up, then. Tweak it up. Because that's what we need. Y'all know that's what we need. Ain't no need in studying white folks like that. Because you ain't asking the right questions anyway. So ain't no need in, they do need to be studied, though. But ain't nobody asking the right questions. Don't nobody want to know the truth about it. So let's just go on and nip this in the bud, do what needs to be done, and go on and coexist on the planet. Go on and coexist on the planet. But you ain't got to question them about who the fuck are they? What the fuck are y'all to do this? A new species? But we gonna just let it be. Because, honey, it's finna be a whole lot of new species coming out the waters, coming out the air, the clouds, just settling by themselves. Some of them might get off ships. I don't know. So maybe there is a new species. We ain't got to browbeat them if it don't weary y'all. If it don't weary y'all, what the fuck are y'all? Who the fuck do shit like this? Now, don't act like I got to forget about it. Because I don't have to forget about a motherfucking thing. Y'all asses got to forget about it. Face ain't got to forget about it. I ain't going to never forget about it. So, yeah, but if y'all don't want to ask white folks, what the fuck are y'all? Since everything being revealed. Y'all don't want to ask. That's fine. We ain't got to ask them. We ain't got to ask them. But you will let they motherfucking ass know they will pay this reparations. Go out. I don't give. You've been married all this time and stuff. You the main one. You and your interracial, all of that. Go out and let y'all people the same. Let y'all know we need our motherfucking reparations for what y'all asses done did. You know I love you, Sabrina. Tell her ass you love her. You got all these kids together now. But my people need reparations. My ancestors deserve reparations. So we can go ahead and get this out the way. If y'all want to skip over the nitty gritty about everything that's done happened. And you don't want white folks to have to tell you that they really ain't. like us. They really not. And it might be for your own good to find out. It might be for your own motherfucking good. Black hunts. What's this about? I'm just saying in my mind, I'm like hesitating to read, ain't it? But yeah, it might be procrastinating. But goddamn, it makes sense. It sure makes sense. What the fuck are they? Who the fuck are you? Come on now. Everything else being revealed. We got to ask these questions. But you might want to know. Hell, they trying to block out the sun. You seen Blade. Blade was not just a movie. Y'all. Blade was not just a movie. You can't believe Blade was just a movie. Get put in the darkness if you want to. Block out that sun. Get put in the darkness if you want to, Black America. And you can't generate no type of electricity between you and the babies. Each other. We all electricity. We gonna have to touch each other. E.T., you better touch each other so we can generate some light. Cause honey, when it's just closed down, boom, black like that right there, honey, can't nobody see number white folks. Hun your ass. Hun your black ass. Ooh, especially if y'all ass got that jabber in you. Yep. That jabber gonna light you up like fire. Yes, honey, they gonna see your ass skitter everywhere in the darkness. I'm just saying, you better be drinking some pine nettle tea. Some white pine nettle tea. Honey, start eating cilantro. Get you some, they good with almonds and little fruits like that. It take the bitterness out of them and stuff. But yeah, all of that, because we ain't never seen this happen before. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Sure ain't. Nobody. All of this is unprecedented. I was saying, I don't know if a meteor or a missile finna come, but we don't know if something else is coming with it. We don't know if something finna come up out of them waters, the oceans and stuff. We don't know if something finna come down from the ethers, because they up there probing all out in the space and stuff with these machines. So Black America, I just want you to be prepared. Just be prepared to survive, whatever. Okay? That's all you got to do. If you do see something, now if something come out the ocean and stuff, then yeah, you probably want to go on and go to cover. Get the cover if something come out the ocean. Because yeah, it's been sleep and it's done woke the fuck up. But if you see something coming out the clouds and stuff, like some aliens and shit, how they talking about people is seeing and stuff, ask some motherfucking questions. You ask some goddamn questions, okay? Because ain't nobody hurt you but white America. Collectively. I know you can say black people don't hurt you and stuff, but hurt people where they live at and stuff. We know that. But I'm saying, if you see something out of this world, ask it some questions. You got to ask some questions. Yeah, if you see Jesus, ask Jesus some questions. Or let him know where I'm at. Face want to ask some questions. Because we need to start reconsidering things. Everything. At a time like this is motherfucking crucial, y'all. I can't even explain it and stuff. Half of it could be AI. It could not be AI. I don't know. Everybody playing goddamn games and shit. And so many pranks going on. What the fuck is going on? What's the hindsight? What you really doing? Finna pre-propose slavery on Black America? This new world order and stuff, what is it? It's finna be the round 2. Or maybe it's round 3. Where we finna see the final installations of the 5G. You got a new pandemic coming up. All these executive orders just taking everything from Black America. Oh, and then it was just damn a Tesla car. They said it malfunctioned. I seen the video, but they said the Tesla car malfunctioned. When they got alongside the man, he was inside of it praying. He was inside of, keep y'all asses out of the Tesla cars, okay? That right there was just a fair warning. Stay y'all asses out of them, Black America. Because everything finna be connected. And everything finna be queued on you. See, everything finna be queued up on your ass. I'm just saying how I see it and stuff. Everybody out. I ain't never seen this many people out that's like protesting. You know, I think they still protesting against the immigrations. I don't know. But ain't nothing we can do about all of that. We're going to have to fight with the pen and the paper for us. And make sure we don't lose nothing else. Because to get out there with that right there, that's going to swallow up our focus. So we can't do that. But I ain't never seen that many people out there for the wrong thing. Well, it must not be wrong for them because they out there doing it. But for us, ain't nobody ever put forth that effort. That's all I'm trying to say. Ain't nobody ever put forth that type of effort, that type of vision, trying to come together and fight. Ain't nobody ever. Long as we've been in this country supposedly free, that's why I say, where the fuck is the love? Where is the goddamn love for Black America? Yeah, y'all, we need our own Black political party. Fuck this bullshit. Fuck this. We need our own Black political party. But Black Hunts, I don't know. Chapter 5. Woo. Let's read. And don't forget, I said, since I'm reading these chapters, it's only going to be a couple of them. I'm going to read the whole chapter. Yeah, because I need to understand the chapter. It ain't going to do me no good to read a chapter, a paragraph here and a paragraph there. Yeah. On the evening of April 17, 1689, the 26-year-old Cotton Mather probably held a meeting at his house. These elite merchants and ministers plotted to seize the captain of the royal ship, the royal warship, These elite merchants and ministers plotted to seize the captain of the royal warship guarding Boston Harbor, arrest royalists, and compel the surrender of the royalist contingent on Fort Hill. They hoped to control and contain the revolt, avoid the bloodshed, and await instructions from England, where Increase Mather held his lobbying post before William and Mary. They didn't want a revolution. They merely wanted their royally backed local power reestablished. But if the country people, by any unrestrainable violences, pushed towards revolution, Cotton Mather explained, then to pacify the ungoverned mobile, he would prevent a declaration of gentlemen and merchants. The next morning, conspirators seized the warship captain as planned. News of the seizure initiated rebellious seizures all over Boston, as the elite plotters feared would occur. A convulsed working-class crowd gathered at the townhouse in the center of town, driving and furious, avid for royal blood and independence. Mather rushed to the townhouse. At noon, he probably read from the gallery a declaration of gentlemen and merchants to the revolutionaries. Mather's calm, assuring ministerial voice reasoned down the passions of the populace, according to family lore. By nightfall, Sir Edmund Andros, Edward Randolph, and other known royalists had been arrested, and Puritan merchants and preachers once again ruled New England. The populace remained unruly. However, over the next few weeks, Cotton Mather was tapped to preach at a May convention called to settle the various demands for independence, military rule, or the old charter. He did not see democracy in the different demands. He saw pandemonium. I am old enough to cry peace, and in the name of God, pandemonium. And in the name of God, I do it, he preached at the convention. The next day, Town representatives voted to return to the old charter and reappoint the old governor, Simon Bradstreet. Peace, or the old social order to the populace submitting to the ministers and merchants, did not reappear as Mather had wished. Nearly everyone knew the Bradstreet government was unofficial, as it had not received royal backing. When the king recalled Andros, Randolph, and other royalists in July 1689, it did not calm the masses. All confusion is here, one New Englander reported. Every man is a governor, another testified. The Declaration of Gentlemen and Merchants, most likely written by Mather, resembled another declaration by another prominent intellectual down in Virginia a century later. In the 6th article of 12, the writer declared, "The people of New England were all slaves, and the only difference between them and slaves is their not being brought and sold." In unifying New Englanders, Mather tried to redirect the resistance of commoners from local elites to British masters. And in actuality, Mather saw more differences between Puritans and slaves. If his other published words in 1689 were any indication, than between local Englanders and their British masters. In the collection of sermons, Small Offers Towards the Service of the Tabernacle in the Wilderness, Mather first shared his racial views, calling the Puritan colonists the English Israel, a chosen people. Puritans must religiously instruct all slaves and children, the inferiors, Mather pleaded. But masters were not doing their job of looking after African souls, which are as white and good as those of other nations, but are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Cotton Mather had built on Richard Baxter's theological race concept. The souls of African people were equal to those of the Puritans. They were white and good. They don't even turn your soul white. Yep. You ain't got no black soul no more. They done turned your soul white. They done took your motherfucking soul and turned it white. Yep. I'm just saying. It said it right there. It said, what else you think it means? The souls of African people were equal to those of the Puritans. They were white and good. You know, heaven white too. Yep. Mather wrote of all humans having an unblemished white soul the same year John Locke declared all unblemished minds to be white. Robert Boyle and Isaac Newton had already popularized light as white. Michelangelo had already painted the original Adam and God as both being white in the Vatican's Sistine Chapel. And for all these white men, whiteness symbolized beauty, a trope taken up by one of the first popular novels by an English woman. Published in 1688, Alfred Ben's Orinoco, or The Royal Slave, was the first English novel to repeatedly use terms like white men, white people, and Negro. Set in the Dutch South African colony of Suriname, Orinoco, and that's Oroonoko. Orinoco is the story of the enslavement and resistance of a young English woman and her husband, Orinoco, an African prince. Orinoco's beautiful, agreeable, and handsome physical features looked more European than African. His nose was rising and Roman instead of African and flat. And his behavior was more civilized according to the European mode than any other had been. Ben, B-E-H-N, that's how they spell it. Being framed Orinoco as the heroic, noble savage, superior to Europeans in his ignorance, in his innocence, in his harmlessness, and in his capacity for learning from Europeans. And in true assimilationist fashion, one of the characters insists, a Negro can change color, for I have seen him as frequently blush and look pale as that. A Negro can change color, for I have seen him as frequently blush and look pale as that, as visibly as I ever saw in the most beautiful white person ever. They just won't let you be yourself. They will not let you be yourself. You got to rethink this whole life and afterlife thing. Black America, you do. Other folks don't, but you do. Your relationship with white folks here on earth and after earth is that significant for you, Black America. If anybody could come back and tell you, let that be the question you ask. If you see anybody come back, let that be the question you ask. I'm just saying, if you need, don't faint. Richard Baxter endorsed the London edition of Cotton Mather's other 1689 publication, his first book-length work, which became a bestseller, Memorable Providences, relating to witchcrafts, and possessions. Baxter rejoiced, having influenced the young Mather as someone likely to prove so great a master building in the Lord's work. Mather's treatise, outlining the symptoms of witchcraft, reflected his crusade against the enemies of white souls. He couldn't stop preaching about the existence of the devils and witches. Or perhaps the restlessness of the commoners in the aftermath of the 1689 revolt triggered the real obsession in Cotton Mather. The revolt, indeed, had fueled public strife against not only the faraway British king, but also Puritan rulers of Mather's stature. Maybe Mather was consciously attempting to redirect the public's anger away from elites and toward invisible demons. He did regularly preach that anyone and anything that criticized his English Israel must be led by the devil. Long before egalitarian rebels in America started to be cast off as extremists, criminals, radicals, outsiders, communists, or terrorists, Mather's community of ministers ostracized egalitarian rebels as devils and witches. Everybody was a devil. Everybody was a witch. How many doleful wretches have been decoyed into witchcraft? Cotton Mather asked in 1691. His father, preached a lengthy series on devils in 1693 after returning from England with the new Massachusetts charter. Oh, wait. Samuel Parris, a Salem minister, preached endlessly about the devils in their midst. And on one dismal day in February 1692, Parris anxiously watched his 9-year-old daughter and 11-year-old niece suffer chokes, convulsions, and pinches. As their condition worsened each day, the ministers worsened too. It dawned on Parris. The girls had been bewitched. Oh, like Salem, the Salem witch. Yeah. While prayers rose up like kites in Salem and nearby towns, the Salem witch hunt began. The number of afflicted and accused spread over the next few months, swelling the public uproar and turning public attention from political to religious strife. And in nearly every instance, the devil who was preying upon innocent white Puritans was described as black. Damn. One Puritan accuser described the devil as a little black bearded man. Another person saw a black thing of a considerable bigness. Another black thing jumped in one man's window. The body was like that of a monkey, the observer added. The feet like a cock's, but the face much like a man's. Since the devil represented criminality, and since criminals in New England were said to be the devil's operatives, the Salem witch hunt ascribed a black face to criminality, an ascription that remains to this day. Cotton Mather's friends were appointed judges. Yeah, well, what folks do, white folks do, make up. It was a black man. Was that lady named Susan something? Said that a black man kidnapped her babies killed her babies. And yeah, the mask that they got out, mask look real too. You wouldn't even know it was a mask because they fit down up under the shirt and stuff like that. The black man. But yeah. The accused up north in Andover. The accused up north in Andover, Massachusetts, confessed that the Black Devil Man compelled them to renounce their baptism and sign his book. They rode poles to meetings where as many as 500 witches plotted to destroy New England, the accused confessed. Hearing about this, Cotton Mather sniffed out a hellish design of bewitching and ruining our land. Mather ventured to Salem for the first time to witness the executions on August the 19th, 1692. He came to see the killing of George Burroughs, Burroughs, the supposed general of the Black Devil's New England Army of Witches. Burroughs preached Anabaptist ideas, that's Anabaptist. Burroughs preached Anabaptist ideas of religious equality on the northern frontier, the kind of ideas that had bred anti-racism in Germantown. Mather watched Burroughs plead his innocence at the execution site and stirred the very great number of spectators when he recited the Lord's Prayer, something the judges said witches could not do. The black man stood and dictated to him, Burroughs' accuser shouted, trying and failing to calm the crowd. Mather heard the ticking time bomb of the spectators, sounding like the unruly masses during the 1689 revolt. As soon as Burroughs was hanged, Mather sought to quell the passions of the crowd by reinscribing the executive policies of his ruling class into God's law. Remember, he preached, the devil often transformed himself into an angel of light. Mather clearly believed in the power of religious and racial transformation, from black devils to white angels, with good or bad intentions. The furor over witches soon died down, but even after Massachusetts authorities apologized, reversed the convictions, and provided reparations in the early 1700s, Mather never stopped defending the Salem witch trials, because he never stopped defending the religious, class, slaveholding, gender, and racial hierarchies reinforced by the trials. These hierarchies benefited elites like him, or as he continued to preach, they were in accord with the law of God. And Cotton Mather viewed himself or presented himself as the defender of God's law, the crucifier of any non-Puritan, African, Native American, poor person, or woman who defied God's law by not following the rules of submission. Sometime after the witch trials, maybe to save their black faces from accusations of devilishness and criminality, a group of enslaved Africans formed a religious society of Negroes in Boston. It was one of the first known organizations of African people in colonial America. In 1693, Cotton Mather drew up the society's list of rules, prefaced by a covenant. We, the miserable children of Adam and Noah, freely resolve to become the servants of that glorious Lord. Two of Mather's rules were instructed. Members were to be counseled by someone wise and of English descent, and they were not to afford any shelter to anyone who had run away from their masters. Meeting weekly, some members of the society probably delighted in hearing Mather cast their souls as white. Told you? Didn't I just tell you? You can't be black in life or the afterlife. These books, just read between the lines. in the book Robert Sadler, The Emancipation of Robert Sadler. The white woman told Robert Sadler when he was a kid and stuff, if it was black people in heaven, they was serving white folks. We got to read between the lines and stuff. Everything being revealed for a reason. Oh, hell. Everything being revealed for a reason. I know. I never would have thought it either. But yep, they done took your soul. Done turned your soul white. So what you think they're going to do to you in heaven? You think you're going to be on the same level with them? You're going to be a slave in heaven. Yep, and I'm going to be picking all of that cotton up there. That's cotton up there, y'all. We got to start thinking about this. Now, we got the evidence right there in front of our faces and stuff. We reading the book. We know we learning about history. We know some things that we witnessing it now. Everything that Trump administration is taking from us. We seeing everything now right before our eyes. Just start putting this shit together. Once we decide, we taking our power back in this life and the next life. Then we can really begin to say we are on one accord. We all on the same code. Now, I'm just saying shit. Hell, don't be leading. You're trying to lead me up there to heaven. Don't be leading us up there without doing your due diligence. Now, them babies and stuff, they too young to read and know. But you old enough to know. All our pastors and stuff that ain't really telling us. See, if they just give us the information we need, then we can hopefully see the truth, read between the lines. But as long as they keep just every Sunday filling us up with this same old story of Adam and Eve and, going to heaven and turn the other cheek and forgetting about our history and stuff, that ain't doing us no good. Leading us right on up there to another eternity, another lifetime, forever and ever, under this same old vision that white folks ass done concocted. Shit, quit doing that shit to us. Meeting weekly. Some members of the society probably delighted in hearing Mather cast their souls as white. Probably thought it was good. They finally see us like that. They finally see us as white. Some probably rejected these racist ideas and used the society to mobilize against enslavement. The religious society of Negroes did not last. Few Africans wanted to be Christians at that time, though that would change in a few decades. And not many masters was willing to let their captives become Christians because, unlike in other colonies, there was no Massachusetts law stipulating that baptized slaves did not have to be freed. Because, in some colonies and stuff, if the slave became a Christian, then they could fight for their freedom. Throughout the social tumult of the 1690s, Mather obsessed over maintaining the social hierarchies by convincing the lowly that God and nature had put them there, whether it applied to black women, black children, enslaved Africans, or poor people. In a good master well served, 1696, he presumed that nature had created a conjugal society between husband and wife, a parental society between parent and child, and lowest of all, a hieral society, Herile, between master and servant. Society, he said, became destabilized when children, women, and servants refused to accept their station. Mather compared egalitarian resistors to that old ambitious devil who wanted to become the all-powerful God. This line of thinking became Mather's everlasting justification of social hierarchy. The ambitious lowly resembled Satan. His kind of elites resembled God. You are better fed and better clothed and better managed by far than you would be if you were your own men. Mather informed enslaved Africans in A Good Master Well Served. His insistence that urbane American slavery was better than barbaric African freedom was not unlike Gomez Eanes de Zurara's estimation that Africans were better off as slaves in Portugal than they had been in Africa. And that was Gomez Eanes de Zurara's, remember earlier in the book. And it was talking about him. Do not partake in evil and make yourself infinitely blacker than you are already. Mather warned. By obeying, your souls will be washed white in the blood of the Lamb. If you fail to be orderly servants, then you shall forever welter under intolerable blows and wounds from the devil, your overseer. If you fail to be orderly servants, then you shall forever welter under intolerable blows and wounds from the devil, your overseer. In sum, Mather offered enslaved Africans two options: righteous assimilated whiteness and slavery to God and God's minion, or segregated criminal blackness and slavery to the devil and the devil's minion. Damn, you can't get in or out. Black America, I'm just saying. No wonder you don't know what to do. No wonder you don't know what to do. See, that's why we got to don't go nowhere with white folks after this right here. Set your mind up that you want to be free for eternity. You want to be free forever and ever and ever and ever. You don't want to serve nobody forever and ever and ever and ever. You want to fly as free as you can forever, all over. You don't want to just be trapped, limited in heaven. Don't you want the whole multiverse to be yours? Or you want to just be in heaven? Heaven is huge, though. I imagine heaven is humongous. It's huge. But it's white folks' vision. Heaven is white folks' vision. It ain't even got no color up there. Except for when your ass get up there and be picking all that cotton. But I'm just saying, ain't no back door on the pearly white gates. You don't see no rainbow in the clouds. You don't see the sun nowhere. Just all that cotton in them pearly white gates. And ain't got no windows, ain't got no back door to it. I'm just saying. I see something different. All of these books. See, you are the greatest creator of your reality. It's your decision. Dr. Deborah Bless, I ain't even here I can't tell you what decision to make. I'm just telling how I feel about it. But it's your decision if you still want to go to heaven with white folks and take your chances up there. You see, there ain't no damn good here to you. Not to you. They ain't. They don't give a damn about your black ass here on earth. Shit, don't think I'm gonna lie to you and tell you they gonna treat you different when you get to heaven, because I'm not gonna lie to you and get you thinking that everything gonna be all right in heaven and y'all gonna be, together and ain't gonna be no pain and no hunger, no racism, not towards nobody else but you. Hey, if anybody come back, you better ask them. Everybody always say they come back and it's peaceful in heaven. How? Emmett Till and Carolyn Bryant together in heaven. What did Justice say for Emmett Till? Her husband, her brother-in-law, he up there too. Because they live full lives on earth. They live full lives. They had marriages, kids, grandkids, businesses, went on vacation, shit like that. So wasn't no justice here for Emmett. But in heaven, they all in heaven. Carolyn died of cancer. I'm sure she repented to the Lord and asked forgiveness, but she never did to Emmett's mother, to the black community. But God forgave her. She in heaven. But where's the justice? So I ain't saying you can't go. Hell, if you must go, go. But don't be surprised. Now, we done read it one time in one of them books. But by now, Black America, your ass supposed to be reading through your third eye. You supposed to be reading through your DNA, your gut instincts. You supposed to be reading through history's lens. Because you ain't never got no healing from it. You still don't know how to navigate amongst these people and stuff. And white folks know this. They know this. I'm just saying, we still got to coexist on this planet right here. But when we leave this earth right here, you seriously consider where you going to spend your forever and ever and ever. Because, honey, white folks taking everything from you. Yes, by obeying, your souls will be washed white in the blood of the Lamb. If you fail to be orderly service, then you shall forever welter under the intolerable blows and wounds from the devil, your overseer. In sum, Mason offered enslaved Africans two options: righteous assimilated whiteness and slavery to God and his minions, or segregated criminal blackness and slavery to the devil and the devil's minions. You didn't have, see, that's how we were forced. Remember when I said we were forced to be religious, that Christianity? And it was true. Because in the movie Jane Pittman, and it's on YouTube, it was a scene in there. And I think it was a scene in Django also, where they had the slaves in the back of the house and back of the big house on a Sunday. And everybody was listening to the sermon. The master had the Bible in one hand, he had the whip in the other hand. But we were forced. And there you got it. There you have it. Yep, there you have it. So Black folks made the only decision that they could make to stay safe. Yeah, we'll take it. And so they did take it. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them, they did get their ass whipped. They got whipped and beat because they refused to go to the plantation. But when they did decide that they're going to go to the plantation and stuff, they were so hurt and bent up and just bruised and stuff. Mather's writings on slavery spread throughout the colonies, influencing enslavers from Boston to Virginia. By the 18th century, he had published more books than any other American, and his native Boston had become colonial America's booming intellectual center. Boston was now on the periphery of a booming slave society centered in the Tidewater region of Maryland, Virginia, and northeastern Carolina. The Mid-Atlantic's moderate climate, fertile land, and waterways for transportation were ideal for the raising of tobacco, and lots of it. Fulfilling the voracious European demand, tobacco exports from this region skyrocketed from 20,000 pounds in 1619 to 38 million in 1700. The imports of captives and racist ideas soared with tobacco exports. In the 1680s, enslaved Africans eclipsed white servants as the principal labor force. In 1698, the Crown ended the Royal African Company's monopoly and opened the slave trade. Purchasing enslaved Africans became the investment craze. The economic craze did not yield a religious craze, though. Planters still shied away from converting enslaved Africans, ignoring Mather's arguments. One lady inquired, "Is it possible that any of my slaves should go to heaven and I must see them there?" Because her ass wants you to be her slave. Her ass wants you to be her slave. Is it possible that any of my slaves should go to heaven and I must see them there? Christian knowledge one planter complained, would be a means to make the slave more apt to wickedness. Cotton Mather's counterpart in Virginia, Scottish minister James Blair, tried to induce planters to realize the submission wrought by Christianity. The 1689 appointment of the 33-year-old Blair as commissary of Virginia, the highest ranking religious leader, reflected King William and Queen Mary's new interest in the empire's most populous colony. Blair used profits from slave labor. Blair used the profits from slave labor to found the College of William and Mary in 1693, the colony's second college. Yes, honey, the slave labor. He used all that profit, honey, and got them a college. In 1699, Blair presented to the Virginia House of Burgesses a proposition for encouraging the Christian education of Indians, Negroes, and mulatto children. Lawmakers responded, rather inaccurately, that the Negroes born in this country are generally baptized and brought up in the Christian religion. As for imported Africans, lawmakers announced, the gross bestiality and rudeness of their manners, the variety and strangeness of their languages, and the weakness and shallowness of their minds render it in a manner impossible to make any progress in their conversion. For the much more difficult commercial task, planters overcame the strange languages and had no problem teaching these shallow-minded, rude beasts and other matters. Planters of impossibilities suddenly became planters of possibilities when instructed imported Africans on the complexities of pro-slavery theory, racist ideas, tobacco production, skilled trades, domestic work, and plantation management. Ain't that some shit? As Maryland's commissary, the Oxford-educated Thomas Bray did not fare much better than Blair in converting blacks during his tour of Maryland in 1700. Returning to London distressed in 1701, honey, he organized the Society for the Propagation of the Gospel in Foreign Parts, the SPG. King William approved it, and an all-star cast of ministers signed up to become the founding members of the Church of England's first systematic effort to spread its views in the colonies. Cotton Mather, he didn't sign up for SPG. He was distrustful of Anglicans on every level. Even though Mather started mocking the Society for the Molestation of Gospel in the Foreign Parts, he remained in solidarity with Anglican SPG missionaries and Quaker missionaries in trying to persuade resistant enslavers to Christianize resistant Africans. Persuading planters was extremely difficult, though. Then again, persuading them to Christianize their captives was much easier than what Mather's friend tried to persuade them to do in 1700s. Honey, anything to get your soul. Anything to get your soul. Maybe that's, honey, we done for the night. Great Awakening, chapter 6. I don't know if we're going to read that right there because, since we're doing it like this. But yeah, I wonder is that really a pacifier for the loss of us? Is that really a pacifier? Because we were reading they were her property. And white women went through this depression, this damn near breakdown when they lost, when we were free, when we got our physical freedom. And I was under the impression that they pulled themselves together, though. They did. They pulled themselves together and they learned how to take care of the household and the kids and cook and clean and mop the floor and wash the clothes. And it took them a long time, but they did. They pulled themselves together. And I was under the impression that was possible because we were still in the vicinity. We were still in their vicinity, somewhat. Yeah, they had to pay us now. Things were different now, not so much for the benefit of us. But then when I started reading this right here, and it's like, well, they want us in life and afterlife. White America do. And it's different for us than it is for every other people in the world and stuff, because we got a different history with white America. But that's who we lean towards, white America's ideas and white America's visions instead of our own visions and stuff, when historically it makes no sense that your mind should be able. I mean, who mind now? Who mind actually can see these people in heaven together? And you ain't got no questions about it. You ain't got no questions, no concern. You ain't got a word or a whisper to nobody. Not to God, not to Jesus, not to them, not to him. About how did this end up? Well, how is this? Well, where's the justice at? Every last one of them made it to heaven? Yep. Every last one of them made it to heaven. So I'm just saying, it's deeper than what we've been led to believe it is. But now we know you ain't got to just go to heaven and hell. You can go to the afterlife. Me, personally, I'm going to the 12th of never. Yeah. I'm going to the 12th of never, honey. I don't ever want to see white folks again when I leave planet Earth. Yeah, when I leave this experience right here and I transcend over, yeah, honey, I'm taking me a hard detour. Sure will. You better start thinking, Black America. Honey, the illusion is broken. This whole motherfucking illusion is broken. You ain't got to be what they telling you are. You ain't got to go where they telling you to go. Start asking some questions. Shit, that question alone. John Hartfield, 10,000 white folks was at John Hartfield's lynching. Yep, in Ellisville, Mississippi, on the outskirts of Ellisville. Burned his corpse. The media had it in the newspaper on the front page, 5 p.m. sharp. They let the kids out of school. The trains were free. And the local places all around, probably like 100 miles each direction. Everybody could come if they wanted to. Yeah, it was terrible. The governor knew and the NAACP knew. But they said they couldn't do nothing to stop it. They said they couldn't do nothing to stop it. White kids was in the trees and stuff. And yeah, you got to ask yourself, Black America, where's the justice in this going to heaven? Seriously, where is the justice? If you ain't going to ask it, white folks damn sure ain't going to ask it. They ain't going to tell you. Why would they? As long as they keep that part hidden from you. And as long as your mind is coming to heaven, then yeah, we'll take you. We'll take you like that. Now, we know you ain't got nobody, but this right here was the most calculated, well-publicized lynching. It was the most calculated, well-publicized. The media, like you see the media turning on us now, Black Americans, how the media did this right here, all of them, every last one of them. It was the media's. It was the media's accountings in these books. Yep. These accountings we read about, That was your media right there, your same medias today. That mentality, that mindset that's against you, Black America. Jeff Brown bumped into a white woman, he was lynched. Jesse Thornton, he didn't tell some man, yes, sir. Yep. James Byrd. Yep. You remember James Byrd? James Byrd was lynched June 7, 1988 in Jasper, Texas. Yep. On my birthday. And then 15-year-old James Howard. Remember, he sent that postcard, gave that postcard to that little white girl, and they lynched him and threw him in the Suwannee River. I mean, I'm just saying, where's the justice at? Yep. In Red Summer, we read about Joe Ruffin. You know, they killed both of his sons and stuff, John Holiday and Henry Ruffin. They actually didn't get Joe Ruffin, because they ended up moving him somewhere. You know, Joe was hurt at the beginning of the riot and stuff, the massacre. But they ended up moving Joe. But they went and got his best friend, Willie Williams, out of his house and lynched him. All of this right here, where's the justice? I can't see it. I don't think y'all can see it. I think you're just afraid to say what it could be. You're afraid to put that second, that third alternative out there, that third option out there, Black America. But we need to talk about it. I mean, do you know why it's a conflict of interest in heaven with white folks? And yeah, you might well go and say other folks too, because other folks gonna let them treat you like that in heaven. Other folks ain't gonna do nothing to help you in heaven, just like they ain't doing nothing to help you here. You gonna be the one that's trapped. Yeah, we closing up. I just, I ain't been here in a few weeks, and I just wanted to touch on that and stuff. But I just want us to start thinking about these things. We getting prepared. Oh yeah, you getting ready. We all getting ready, whether you know it or not, because something is coming because of everything white America's done in this country. Babylon is falling. It was prophesied in your Bible that Babylon must fall. So you knew it was coming. Just try to survive it. That's all we got to do. Just try to survive. Make your preparations. You know, it's going to be a lot of people that ain't, but let's make sure we at least strive to survive this, Black America. Yep. And get out the way. Judgment been called on white America. Yeah. But I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow on the next page. And I love you, Call Dog, and it's so good to see you again. Yep, and I've been watching my videos, y'all. And yep, been working on my other things. But I don't want to forget about this channel right here either. But eventually I'm going to be on another platform, I guess. I don't know how this going to end up. But yeah, I'm just keep working. Something to pan out. And we all know the process, all of this. Whatever it is, even if it ain't, like horrific and stuff, like still process it. Because it is a lot. And we don't want to have this on our mentality, on our brain and stuff, when we go out in the morning and stuff. We want to have a fresh slate. Yeah. But I love you to life and afterlife.